I never thought I'd find myself in the midst of a real-life horror story, but the chilling events of that fateful night continue to haunt my every waking moment. It all began innocently enough, with a late-night drive to clear my head and escape the stresses of life. Little did I know that a chance encounter with a stranger would thrust me into a terrifying ordeal beyond my wildest nightmares. It was a crisp, moonlit night when I decided to take a spontaneous midnight drive. My life had been consumed by work and personal troubles, and I needed a break from it all. I hopped into my car and drove aimlessly through winding country roads, the hum of the engine providing a soothing soundtrack to my thoughts. As I navigated the desolate roads, I felt an eerie sense of isolation. The tall trees lining the route cast long, spindly shadows that seemed to stretch out towards me, clawing at the edges of my sanity. But I dismissed it as mere paranoia, attributing the unease to the late hour. Eventually, I found myself in an unfamiliar area, surrounded by dense woods. My gas gauge was nearing empty, and I was desperate to find a gas station. Just when it seemed like I might have to turn back, I spotted a flickering neon sign through the trees. I pulled into the gravel lot of an old, decrepit gas station. The place appeared abandoned, a relic of a bygone era. The only light came from the feeble glow of the neon sign above the rusted pumps, which read, "Pete's Gas and Grocery." I hesitated for a moment, debating whether it was a good idea to stop there. The place seemed eerie and deserted, but my fuel tank was nearly empty, and I had no other options. I parked my car and cautiously made my way towards the store, my footsteps echoing eerily in the quiet night. The door to the store creaked open, revealing a dimly lit interior filled with dusty shelves and ancient groceries. The place had clearly seen better days. A bell jingled overhead as I entered, announcing my presence to anyone who might be inside. I called out, "Hello? Is anyone here?" but received no response. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant hum of the refrigeration units. I decided to grab a few snacks and a bottle of water while I waited for the gas pump to work its magic. As I roamed the dim aisles, my eyes were drawn to a row of old newspapers. They were yellowed with age, and the headlines spoke of long-forgotten events. It was then that I heard the sound, a soft shuffling noise coming from the back of the store. Startled, I turned in the direction of the sound and caught sight of a figure emerging from the shadows. A man, tall and gaunt, stepped into the feeble light, his face obscured by a tattered hood. He moved with an unsettling, deliberate slowness, and I could feel his eyes on me. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest as I assessed the situation. The stranger finally spoke, his voice a raspy whisper that sent shivers down my spine. "You're out late, friend. Looking for something?" I stammered. I just needed some gas, that's all." He nodded slowly, his eyes never leaving mine. "I can help you with that, but I'll need something in return." My instincts screamed at me to leave, to run back to my car and drive away as fast as I could, but I was trapped, and the fear held me in place. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice trembling. He grinned, revealing yellowed teeth that seemed too sharp for a human mouth. "I need a favor. There's a cabin not too far from here. I need you to deliver a package to the person waiting there." The request was bizarre and unsettling, but I felt a strange compulsion to comply. Perhaps it was the desperation of the situation or the eerie atmosphere of the place, but I reluctantly agreed. The stranger handed me a small, nondescript box and instructed me to follow the winding road deeper into the woods until I reached a clearing with a cabin. I left the gas station with the mysterious package in hand, my car's gas tank now refilled. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the winding road ahead. As I drove deeper into the woods, a sense of dread settled over me. What had I gotten myself into? The journey felt endless, the road twisting and turning like a serpentine path into the unknown. My headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating fleeting glimpses of the dense forest that surrounded me. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes were following my every move. Eventually, I reached the clearing the stranger had described. The cabin stood before me, a solitary structure nestled among the trees. It looked abandoned, its windows shattered, and its wooden walls weathered by time. I parked my car and approached the cabin with the package in hand, my heart pounding in my chest. The door creaked open with a spine-chilling groan, revealing a dimly lit interior. Inside, I discovered a room adorned with bizarre symbols and markings drawn in what appeared to be dried blood. In the center of the room lay a grotesque tableau, a circle of candles, their flames dancing eerily, surrounded by bones and strange artifacts. As I stepped further into the room, I noticed a figure kneeling at the center of the circle. A woman, her eyes wide with terror, her body covered in strange symbols and markings. She appeared to be in a trance, whispering incomprehensible incantations under her breath. My instincts screamed at me to flee, to leave this horrifying scene behind and never look back. I turned to make my escape, but just as I reached the door, I heard a voice that sent chills down my spine. "You were not meant to see this," the stranger from the gas station rasped from behind me. I turned to confront him, my fear boiling over into anger. "What is this? What have you done to her?" He approached, his eyes gleaming with malevolence. "You were chosen, you see, to be a witness, to ensure that our ritual is complete." My fear turned to rage as I hurled the package at him and bolted for the door. The stranger lunged after me, but I managed to slip through the doorway and into the moonlit night. I sprinted back to my car, my heart pounding, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The engine roared to life as I sped away from that nightmarish cabin, leaving the horrors of the woods behind me. I never looked back, never returned to that forsaken place. The memory of that night still haunts me, a dark stain on my soul that refuses to fade. I never learned the true nature of the ritual, nor did I discover the fate of the woman I had glimpsed in that cabin. But one thing is certain: I will never take another midnight drive through the unknown, for I have seen the darkness that lurks in the shadows, and I know that it is real. It is a chilling reminder that evil can manifest in the most unexpected of places, and that there are horrors in this world that defy explanation. I survived that night, but I am forever scarred by the chilling encounter with a stranger who led me into a nightmare beyond my wildest imagination.